Well, good morning, everyone. I'm David Paul, the Managing Director of VectorVest in the UK. And as you've probably all seen from your portfolios, the market has been falling. We had the speech from Fed Governor Powell. And then, of course, we had the American CPI number the other day. And the S&P in the US sitting on absolutely critical support, S&P 500 at 3900. It couldn't close below that level last night. That's an important level. Below that level, then there's a great deal of fresh air. Our market, in fact, has followed the American market down, but has been reasonably strong. But on the chart that I've got in front of you now, that's the VectorVest market timing chart of the United Kingdom. 2,200 shares that we follow on the LSE and on AIM. And as you can see, the long-term measure of the trend is down. The short-term measure of the trend is down, and we have a medium-term measure of the trend as well for sort of 2 to 3 week swing traders. It's also down. So all the measures of the trend of both the UK and the American market are pointing down. And as I say, both markets on both sides of the Atlantic sitting on exceptionally important support levels. Through these levels, I think you can see that level clearly on the UK market from the pre-COVID high. We're sitting down there. We've been down there now 3 times, down below this present level. Well, we can move down and move down strongly, certainly in the US markets, well below the June lows. So we have to be very careful, and stop losses should be, in fact, implemented without fear or hesitation. In a market like this, the only thing that's important is protecting capital to give yourself the ammunition to live another day. So I've got 5 stocks that have been exceptionally strong in this sell-off. If the S&P can find some traction at 3900, we start to move back up again, then they should do exceptionally well. Tongela is the obvious one. It's moved up very nicely indeed since it broke out of that cup and handle pattern. There's a big fat dividend coming. I think the last date to register for the dividend is on the 22nd. So there's no doubt it will probably come back a little bit after that. But nevertheless, the trend on Tongela strong, making rising bottoms, and it's significantly undervalued on VectorVest, growing earnings very strongly indeed. So the second one that I'm also a shareholder in is Greencoat Wind. And as you can see, over the last day or two, when the general market has been in decline, this share has actually gone up and prospered. One of the few that actually closed up yesterday. There's a lovely rounded bottom on that chart for those of you that are chartists. Significantly undervalued, growing earnings very strongly indeed. And again, any strength in the general market, and that should prosper. So, and I have to reveal that I'm a shareholder in everything I'm going to talk about today. This is Caledonian Investments. I thought it was going to break out a week or two ago, but in this bearish looking market, it pulled back. It's sitting at long-term support, and it's on a hold recommendation on VectorVest, considerably undervalued. I think that we should do 2 things. One, we should wait for the general market to at least print a short-term change in trend upwards. And secondly, wait for it to break out of that top trend line that is defining the down move. So that's a share that's going to make a decision for us relatively quickly, right at the apex of that little triangle that I've drawn. Now, I really like Airtel Africa. Now, there's no doubt that it's come back to support. It's significantly undervalued. You had a good week last week at support. Now, what's really important is that during this year, 2022, the share has been going sideways in that range. But at the same time, earnings per share is growing. And my experience with VectorVest now over the last 12 years is that if I see a share in a consolidation, and during the consolidation, the earnings per share is growing, then it tends to actually break upwards. And I think that at around these levels, Airtel Africa is a bargain. It's on a hold recommendation on VectorVest at the moment. Two things again. Let's wait for some signs of strength out of the general market, and let's wait for Airtel Africa to move on to a buy recommendation. And with any luck, it's going to clear those highs in the next strong market up swing. And then finally, Games Workshop. Games Workshop, maybe I'm a bit emotionally attached to, because the VectorVest, myself and all VectorVest subscribers have done very well out of Games Workshop. We were shareholders in Games Workshop when nobody had ever heard of it years ago, when it was trading at 10 or 13, 10 pounds. The share price has pulled back, and it pulled back to a 62% retracement of the big weekly range over the last 5 years. And it would seem to be being strongly accumulated at the moment at around that level. It's presently charting an inverted head and shoulders reversal. I've drawn the neckline of that reversal on the chart. And if we should see Games Workshop closing above that neckline, then as Bill McLaren used to say, the ball is in and the game is on. So I'm holding Games Workshop at the moment. I've been accumulating it in that pattern. So if you're not in, then again, wait for the general market to give some sign of strength, and wait for it to at least print a buy signal or close above that little trend line. And those are 5 stocks that have, I think, weathered the last couple of weeks exceptionally well. I would expect them to prosper if and when the general market does turn upwards. Folks, if you want to find stocks like this, you can find undervalued stocks that are growing their earnings strongly and safely, that are rising in price. And you can find those in a few mouse clicks on VectorVest. If you would like to try VectorVest, go to vectorvest.co.uk and you can take a 30-day trial of the product for $5. So, after the 30 days, you can enroll as a subscriber it's on a month-by-month basis. If we can't make you money, you can stop at any time. So thanks very much, folks. Just be very careful out there. Market is trending down, and below these levels, as I said earlier, there's a great deal of fresh air on the charts. So be careful. Thanks very much.